What's up guys, Block FPL here, and today we have a Game Week 8 initial wildcard team draft. So looking back at Game Week 7, we can see sort of some of the issues that I have with my team. You see the zeros in defense there from Kanza and Saiss. I think both of them will probably go. Kanza, I suppose, is a potential option because of the great fixtures they have after Game Week 8. But right now, I'm still leaning towards getting rid of him because I like some other options at that price, but we'll get into that later. So the ones that are definitely going are Saiss. I'm going to put Kanza on the list. Trent is a definite gone. Trossard, Jimenez, Taylor, Mitchell. Those are definitely going. And then I will probably get rid of one of Son or Kane. So if you watched last game, you notice they didn't create a bunch of chances. Kane had a much higher expected goals than Son, who only had like a combined XG and XA of around, 0.15. So it wasn't great. But the tougher matchups they have coming up after Game Week 8, West Brom, is Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal. So maybe those fixtures favor Son more because he would be better for counterattacking. So I don't know. I'll probably keep one of them because I have value in them. And I'm not getting rid of them yet because until I make the decision, I don't want to just transfer one out just to see how my team looks, because then if I get them back in, it will cost more money. So that's enough of this team. I still do have Lemina to play. This is recorded before these games on Monday. So I'm down to about 412k overall unless Lemina does something big for me. He's like a huge differential, by the way, owned by like 0.06% in the top 10k, as you would expect. So I'm down, and I don't think I want to continue with this team because I just see the red arrows coming more. I'm still in a decent position considering this the beginning of the season, better than I was last season. And I had already used my wild card at this point last season. So I've definitely improved based on last season, and hopefully I can improve on my final rank. So anyway, let's get into what we all want to see, which is the current wild card team. So one thing that is going to happen with this team is I will have the Chelsea and West Ham double defense. I quite like the look of it. Going into the first game week against Fulham and Sheffield United, we have a great chance of some clean sheets here. And Masuaku is 9th among creativity, and he's only 4.5. I think that's great value on a team that's defending well. Kufal, not sort of up there on creativity, but he does get forward a decent amount. I could easily go Kufal to Cresswell in this current team setup, but right now I have Cresswell out of the team. The thing is that I did miss the price rises of Cresswell and Bamford last night, I believe it was, and I got the Son one. So Son and Kane are still in the team, but one of those could change. I put Grealish in. He doesn't have a great matchup, but I like the look of the Aston Villa talisman. They showed that they can score a lot of goals, and really they have great fixtures from game week 9 to 15. So I have to have at least one of their attackers. Grealish, the obvious option. I feel like it's an easy pick and move on, but don't do anything too crazy. So I like the idea of a strong bench with this team just because I'm not too sold on any of the premium options right now, like Man City 11.5 or Bruno Fernandes or anybody like that, besides Salah, of course. So what I can do with this is I can have like my 7.5 mids or my cheap forwards, and if they have a bad matchup, I can maybe bench them. So I'm looking at even potentially having 8 good attackers, meaning 5 solid midfielders that I could play any week, and 3 good forwards that I could play any week. And I could do that, for example, with the current amount of money I have in the bank, which is around 2.4, I believe. I can go from Zuma to Reece James, and then I can upgrade Riedewald to Zaha. And that's the way I had this team right before I started recording this video, but I'm like, you know what? I don't really see myself ending up with Zaha in my team. I feel like it's good to note at this point that a lot of people like the idea of, or I guess it's talked about a lot. It doesn't actually come into play a lot of times, the idea of gaining value on wildcard. So if you have a player that you think is going to go up 0.2 during your wildcard game week, like let's say I got in, Cresswell before his price rise last night. He'd already be up 0.1, and then if he went up again, that'd be 0.2, and the way FPL works, that would be 0.1 added to the value at which I could sell him. So then I could sell him at higher than I got him for. But like if I get in Zaha now, I don't expect him. I think he's going to go up 0.1 this game week, but not 0.2. So I can get him in just to make sure that if I do end up with him in my team, that I won't miss out on the 0.1. But it's not like I can get him in. He's going to rise 0.2, and then I can sell him at 0.1 more than I bought him for. I don't think that's going to be the case, and I don't really see any players at which I can do that. I did miss out on the Bamford and Cresswell price rises, and Cresswell does have a good chance of ending up in my team, as well as Bamford. So yeah, that's that. I feel like that's talked about a lot and probably overhyped a lot, but there are some situations where you can gain team value just off a player that rises a lot, even if you don't end up with him in your actual wildcard team. You just get him in and then get rid of him, but they have to rise 0.2 for that to really work. Other than that, the main strategy that I think is important about that is just not, like for me, not just fooling around and getting rid of Son and Kane too early. Because then if I get them back in, obviously, they're going to cost way more, and that would price me out of a lot of potential things I could do. So right now, I have gone Zuma over James because he's just more nailed to start. James went 2 games there in a row where he did not start, and one he came off the bench for, which I don't like to see. And Zuma's just had great goal threat so far, so I just want to play it safe there. I'd like to look at the Chelsea defense over these next couple of fixtures, so I don't want to be disappointed when they're on the bench. I guess really they just have 2 good fixtures after this, and then they get a little bit even, but I could sell one of them at that point. But with a lot of teams not really getting that many clean sheets, they have goal threat, and that's pretty important. But Zuma out after the first 2 weeks could be a good option. But, I'm not really planning that as a necessary transfer because, like I said, if I have a lot of depth in the team, I can always bench players around and do whatever I like. So that's why you see a lot of the focus on the next couple of game weeks with these fixtures, at least defensively. One issue with wildcarding at this point in time is that I feel like a lot of the attackers I could get in have like weird matchups where their fixture swing is like after next week. So what that means is like with Grealish, for example, I get him in now against the Arsenal away matchup, which isn't great, but then after that he has good fixtures. So I'll probably just have to take the hit on a lot of these bad matchups for maybe 1 or 2 game weeks, but this also goes into why I will probably have some options on the bench. I'm sort of going all over the place here, but one position that could easily change is the Fabianski in goal position. So I'm not too sure about any of the 4.5 goalkeepers. They're okay, but a lot of them have like just okay or bad fixtures. The ones I really want, like Meslier or McCarthy, which I'm not too sold on Southampton's defense yet. I just think West Ham, obviously they got a lot of their terrible matchups out of the way already. So really from game week 8 to game week 20, they have 2 bad matchups against Chelsea and Manchester United. And, Manchester United, I guess I could argue that's not that bad of a matchup right now. But they initially play Fulham and Sheffield United. It gives me a nice little triple up of West Ham. And I like the idea of it, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to spend $5 million on a goalkeeper just because that extra 0.5 where I could downgrade him to somebody else, it just could be used better in a different position. So we'll see what happens with that. But Fabianski, if I can make it work, Fabianski will be in goal. I do really like the look of his fixtures. And I've been pretty passive in terms of goalkeeper play so far this season. I just got a 4.5 in and a 4.0 on the bench. But this will be sort of a move for me to hopefully outscore some people at the goalkeeper position. So I can talk some more about like my certain team selection, but right now I'm sort of just getting the structure down. So I know that I want to have some players that can rotate onto my bench in their bad fixtures. So I'll figure out a way. I like the Chelsea and West Ham. That's definitely going to stay. I'll have to put a lot of thought. The toughest decision really is Son or Kane out. Which one? Because I feel like I want to keep one of them, and I don't know which one. And I feel like the decision will end up coming down to where is the best alternative that I can pick. So it may be Kane down to Wilson or something like that. If I decide I want Bamford, I can go Kane to Wilson, and that really frees up. I can really do whatever I want with the rest of the team if I go for 3 value forwards. The reason why I would get rid of Kane is the fact that after the West Brom matchup, which I would love to have him for, but again, like I said, the fixture changes really take place after this week. So I'll have to take the hit on some of that. I'm not sure if game week 8 will be my best, but hopefully it'll be okay. And then after that, I'll be pretty set. So game week 9, 10, and 11, and then 13, they play Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and then Liverpool with a little Crystal Palace matchup. They're tied in, and even after that, they play Leicester and then Wolves. So it's not great at all for Spurs. And we have seen their creativity die down a little bit anyway. All this said, this is why I will be getting rid of one of them, at least one of them. I mean, who knows? Maybe I go crazy and get rid of both, but I think Son at his price probably offers better value. And I'm hearing that maybe Gabriel Jesus will be back, so maybe I can take a punt on him. We'll see how it goes, but I think Kane out looks potentially like the way to go because of these tough matchups. I'm sure he'll still get some points, don't get me wrong, but I could really rearrange these funds and maybe get myself in a position where I can be flexible enough to get a Manchester City midfielder when they become good again, because I'm sure that will happen at some point. So I guess that's the move. And like I said, right now, this team you're looking at right now, I have 2.5 in the bank. So I've got a lot of options here. And I will start off benching probably James or somebody like that has a tough matchup, maybe Grealish. And then I can play my 4 great defenders for this game week. And I can do that sometimes in the future as well, playing a 4-3-3 or 4-4-2, whatever it may be. I'll definitely have to come out with a video about this later on, but right now I will mention some options that I'm looking at. So if I do go from Kane to Wilson, then I can go from Riedewald up to Fernandez. Now, obviously, Manchester United haven't looked great, but he's the cam of the team, and they play Everton, West Brom, Southampton, West Ham. So those are 4 okay matchups, and if they're able to turn it around, you would expect him to get some returns. I guess that's really kind of punty based on how they're playing right now. Some other options that I've considered include Ings. Now, he's injured, and it doesn't look great. I don't know. Again, team news, and that's why I'm okay with the wild card this week. If Ings is completely fit, which for some reason I doubt it, but if he is, he could be a great option. Not the best fixtures, but Ings has looked incredible. They do play Newcastle and Wolves and Manchester United, but I'm interested in their game week 11 and 12 fixtures against Brighton and not Southampton, Sheffield United. So Ings is an option, not the best fixtures, but decent value, probably better value than Kane right now. Ings is just playing so well. And then Chelsea attackers. So I'm not really sure which Chelsea attacker to get. Chilwell is like 100% in my team because of how much he gets forward. Last game, he was looking to finish off crosses, making runs into the box, which is like perfect. That's exactly what I want from a defender, especially only 5.9. Much better than the likes of Trent at the moment. And Chelsea have great fixtures as well. I'm just so sold on the Chelsea Chilwell and Zuma, or Chilwell and Reece James right now. I think it's 100% going to happen. So I'm not really sure which attackers to get. There's not like one that's central to their whole attack right now. They have a lot of good options, but I'm not sure that Ziyech won't be stuck wide all the time. Like, is he going to get in the box and try to finish off crosses? Who's going to take all the free kicks? Is Werner going to play center striker every single game? I mean, last game he was supposed to start on the bench until the Pulisic injury, and then all of a sudden, you know what? He's playing left wing, and Werner owners get pretty lucky with that. But that shows me that Abraham maybe has a place when Chelsea play teams that will probably defend with a deep line, and then they'll get more crosses into the box, and I think that fits Tammy pretty well. So maybe Tammy's like an outside option where I can rotate him in and play him against those teams. I mean, we joke around, but who knows? That could be a great option. But yeah, so that's why I just can't make myself get Werner after that last game. I don't think he's a bad option, though. He's definitely a keep if you have him. So yeah, I'm not sold on the Chelsea attackers, but Chilwell is basically a Chelsea attacker. That's the way I'm looking at it. So I'll think more about that. Thanks for watching. I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 changes to this team in my next video. Like and subscribe if you want more. I will see you next time.
I'ma tell it how I know it.
K-Dub, 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 K-Dub.
Ain't no cap in my crowd. Ain't no cap in my crowd. Presto, pop, pop, pop.